Neighbor, where is Superman Part 2? Bring it on. A few days ago, we shared with you about a heroic legend in comic books. That's Superman. How Superman would just come to the aid of those in distress. We only shared with you the first part. Superman. Today we'd like to share with you part 2, that same character. We'd like to pick up from verse 9, 2 Corinthians chapter 12. The B part. Last week we shared with you 7 through 9a. This week we'd like to pick up from there, continue it with 9b through verse 10. Verse 9 states, follows, if you will, my grace is sufficient. And we learned that God's grace is sufficient. Matter of fact, it's all that we need.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
And his word teaches us that he is El Shaddai, the God of more than enough. And if the God El Shaddai is more than enough, the attributes of him, his grace, is more than enough for anything that we need, any situation that we come up against. His grace is all that we need. And here Paul, the writer, writing to the Corinthian church at large, lets them know that while he was in the midst of going through, he had to learn that it wasn't, again, about him and his selfishness, because early on there's some selfish statements made. And we know all too well, even ourselves, of the selfish statements we have a tendency to make when the pressures of life are compounded and circle us about. We know that the focus is taken off of everybody and everything else and placed on us because we are in a hurting state. And all we know is that the pressure's on and the pain is growing and we're hurting and we're looking for some relief. And so that's when the Lord chimes in, Paul, and whispers to his spirit and say, hold up, Paul, stop being so selfish. Stop being so self-centered and remember that my grace, remember me, I'm the God of all gods. My grace is sufficient. In other words, I'll give you something that's going to hold you. I'll give you something that's going to sustain you with your difficulties and your challenges and your hardships. And while you're going through, I can give you what you need so that you can make it to the other side. Here, he goes on to add in this part B, and I love this statement that the Lord makes. He says that not only is my grace sufficient, but my strength. You all see that circle, highlight, underline the word strength. However you can remember it, remember that. My strength is made perfect in weakness. Baby, you ought not be the only one saying thank you, Lord. Everybody else should have got that one. Is that it's not in your and my strength. Amen. But it's his strength strength provided unto us, gifted to us, and while we're going through that, he gifts us the grace to make it through that time. Is that while we find ourselves in a weakened state, that's when verse 10 comes in. You all see verse 10 says, therefore, well, therefore is there for a reason. My strength is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I take what? Y'all know when the word pleasure translated, it means joy. I take joy in my infirmities, in my necessities, in my persecutions, in my afflictions. And then he jumps down very quickly and says, when I am weak, then am I strong. That's profound. That Jesus stopped talking, then Paul chimed in. But I need to share with you all something. If you would just look at verses 7 and 8, how he started talking. Y'all see how he started out talking? That's us. We do the same thing until we learn, until we grow. We do the same thing in our families, in our marriages, when the hardships come, when God raises the hedge of protection and allow the enemy to touch us like he did Job. The same thing occurs, is that we start talking from the physical aspect of what, see, people are only going to do that which is familiar to them, especially when trouble and problems come. They're going to resort to that which they know. See, you can only fight with how you've been taught to fight. If you haven't been taught any better, you're going to fight the same old way. Only when you've been taught better can you only do better. Then you'll learn to fight better, because there's an alternative way of fighting. And here Paul forgets. And it doesn't always come to the forefront, us being taught better. We have a tendency to suppress the things we've been taught and trained. But as long as it's on the inside, sooner or later we're going to need that stuff. And at the time that we need it the most, it's going to rise to the forefront. Because we need it then. And look at what he says here, that he starts out about boasting and complaining. Doesn't that sound like us? We boast, we complain until the Lord chimes in. See, it takes the Lord to chime in on all of us, because we have a tendency to forget and get beside ourselves. And here's Paul. Can you imagine that situation where the angel of light, Satan, sends another preacher or one, a demonic spirit to take on the physical body of another man and takes that man's understanding and detests and preach and teach against everything that Paul was laying out to the Corinthian church and the other churches in that region? Paul began to fail in his character. That's us. And he says, I talked to you 3 times, and this is my 3rd time talking to you about this same matter. Did you not know that God heard the first time? Remember he talked, when Daniel prayed to him in the 9th chapter of the book of Daniel. Daniel had prayed, and then 21 days later in the 10th chapter, Gabriel shows up, Daniel still on his knees talking to the Lord about what he had already prayed for in the 9th chapter, the previous chapter. And Gabriel walks up to Daniel after arriving and taps him on the shoulder and says, "Get up, man. For the God that you prayed unto, that you talked to 21 days ago, he heard you the first time. And not only did he hear you, he sent me with you've already besought God for, it's just delayed. It's on the way.